Welcome back to Slot Car Racing. Today we're going to take a look at these two 90s rally cars by Scalextric. For a rally car review, I thought the best thing to do would be to visit a rally track. So here we are back at Rockingham to make use of their special stage during one of the club's open days. We've got the 1995 Subaru Impreza WRX driven by Colin McRae and the 1997 Ford Escort Cosworth driven by Sainz. Both of these models hold a great nostalgic appeal to anybody that grew up with 90s motorsport, which is exactly why I bought them. I'll be driving these cars straight out of the box. There's no need to remove the magnets for driving on wood because they won't work anyway. So here we go. Oh, that's unlucky. Not the best start there for the Impreza. Let's try the Cosworth. Oh dear, I think we've got some problems here. Back at the bench and let's see what's going on with these cars. First of all, let me say they both look great. They're certainly on the small side, but Scalextric do tend to go for scale accuracy above all else, so we haven't got any extra width or pancake stances here. Of interest with both cars is a band drive four-wheel drive system, something you don't often see from Scalextric. This time the cars have a traditional inline motor layout driving the rear axle, compared with their previous, ill-conceived attempt at four-wheel drive using a front-wheel drive sidewinder? What? Anyway, both these cars have the same size wheels with very low-profile treaded tyres. Wouldn't be my choice unless I'm going tarmac rallying, and it does mean that truing isn't really an option here. Never mind though, we'll take the approach of having fun and sliding around a little. These are rally cars after all. Removing the bodies, and we've got the Subaru with 3 screws, 2 at the front, 1 at the back, ideal design, and the Cosworth with 4, 1 in every corner. Of note is that while the Cosworth shell comes away easily, facilitating body float, the rear bumper is a completely separate, free-floating piece. Why? For the Subaru, we've got a clamshell, which means float is not happening without some modifications. Poor job, honestly. It's even difficult to remove the body. I'm now starting to understand why these cars just flew off the track at the first opportunity. Another weird thing I noticed is that the screws aren't even the same. The Cosworth has very slightly longer screws. Why? Body's off and both cars have a more or less identical architecture, standard Scalextric guide and cabling to the DPR hatch, JST connector, then onto the motor mounted inline at the rear. Front and rear lights are chassis mounted and feed in at the usual points. Plastic wheels, plastic gears, plastic bushings, the normal stuff. The only obvious difference from your standard Scalextric fare is that the four-wheel drive band and pulleys are on each axle. The band is on the left side of each car. Working four-wheel drive is always a point of contention in slot car racing. Most performance junkies prefer the front wheels to do as little as possible and certainly don't want an extra driven axle draining motor power. That said, there are competitions held for four-wheel drive rally cars and even raid vehicles. I think if you look at it from a just for fun point of view, it can be a neat way to mix things up. The band system on these cars seems to work okay, though I did have to move the power cables away from the band to avoid any mechanical interference. Taking a look at some finer details, we have some neat looking mud flaps on the Subaru, which I appreciate for being made of a flexible material. We can also get a closer look at the new treaded tyre pattern on both of these cars. Again, I'm not sure why they're like this, perhaps Scalextric was going for a low grip strategy. The tyres themselves are also rather narrow, reminding me of the defunct Auto Arch range. That's not a good thing. For the rest, I think their general appearance speaks for itself. Nobody is questioning how good they look, so top marks there. So what exactly is going on with the reluctance to make it more than a couple of feet around the Rockingham Special Stage? Let's look at the symptoms. We've got the car leaving the slot and stuttering around the layout. To me, that suggests the guide is not fully in the slot and consequently the braid is not fully touching the rails. Now, Scalextric have always been prone to designing their guide and front axles in the wrong place, but now we have a four-wheel drive system in play where front tyre contact with the track surface is necessitated. The issue is exacerbated. Lack of body float will also contribute to poor handling over bumps, and that's not even remotely achievable with the Subaru. Without making significant modifications, the best I could do was unscrew the guide a little so that it was free to drop down to the rails. This improved things slightly, but not enough to capture any meaningful footage around the special stage. Most rally cars from other brands have sprung guides or even drop arms that are designed to maintain contact with the rails. There were some other attendees getting their rally fix for the day, and it's notable that their cars had no issues navigating the course. These were from brands such as Ninco, SCX, MSC and Scale Auto, and you can see just how easy it is for them compared to my Scalextric. Not to waste the day, Nick and I took the cars to the scale track in order to get some idea of performance and take some footage of the cars in action. While they were fun to drive side by side and slide around the turns, it wasn't really enough for me to overcome the disappointment of not actually using them to, go rallying with the rally cars. It's kind of left me wondering, who are these cars meant for? They don't really function as rally cars, so slot rally racers, even the casual ones, aren't going to buy them. They look great, but if they're just for collectors, then why give them four-wheel drive? Why is the body chassis interface designed the way it is? Why is the Cosworth made in China and the Subaru in Vietnam? Having different factories is only going to introduce the discrepancies we've seen, and the screw length springs to mind. Overall, I'd score both of these cars disappointing out of 10. Good looks are simply not enough for a supposedly functional model. Everything else just leaves questions for me, such as, should I just sell these and move on with my life? Thanks for watching. If you're a rally fan, then let me know what your favourite rally car is in the comments. Perhaps you'd like Scalextric to make it, or maybe not. Subscribe to the channel for more slot car content, and I'll see you next time.
I was just thinking about straight setting, that's all.